Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming SCS exams happening in May 2025. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for SCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to take you through the technicalities behind your SCS exam. If you're coming through an exemption route, this might be your first CIMA case study. If so, it's essential that you understand how your knowledge is tested and what you need to do when it comes to conducting your preparations in the upcoming weeks. So with that in mind, I will be providing an overview into the SCS exam. And in the latter part of today's webinar, I will be taking you through an 8-week study plan. And if you stick to this study plan, you can conduct your preparations in a stress-free environment, which is essential to ensure that you succeed at your real examination. So before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. We have scheduled 8 webinars and workshops in total, which comprises of 4 webinars and 4 workshops. So the second webinar, in which I'm going to conduct an industry and pre-scene analysis, the second webinar is happening next Friday on the 4th of April at 17 GMT. So at this webinar, as you know, your pre-scene, which is relevant for May and August 2025 SCS exams, will be released next Friday. So on the same day, I'm conducting a pre-scene analysis with the intention of ensuring that you understand what your company is all about, what its industry is all about, and I will also highlight the internal dynamics of your chosen company. So make sure to attend this pre-scene analysis without fail to gain a good understanding of how to approach your pre-scene document and at the same time understand the internals and externals of your chosen company. And the most important webinar out of the 4 webinars, which is the third one, answering technique, is happening on Saturday, the 12th of April. In this answering technique webinar, I will be teaching you answering and time management techniques. And not just, I won't just be teaching you these techniques. After teaching you these techniques, I will be explaining one of the mock exams. I will be taking you through one of the mock exams. And whilst taking you through the mock exam and its answer, I will explain how to implement these answering and time management techniques in a practical sense. And when attempting your mock exams, when conducting your preparations, you are supposed to keep repeating these techniques over and over with the intention of ensuring that you are fully prepared for your exam, which enables you to structure your answers in the most successful manner. Because at this exam, it's all about the quality of your answer. The quantity or the length of your answer will not carry any marks. Instead, the marker is looking at the quality of your answer. So it's essential that you understand how you should approach each type of question and the type of techniques which you need to use to structure your answers appropriately and at the same time manage your time successfully. So without fail, attend the third webinar as well. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be taking you through the exam blueprint, thereby highlighting examiners' comments. It's essential that you understand what's expected from you and what the examiner tells you with regards to how to conduct your preparations. So all these things will be shared in the fourth webinar, and at the same time, I will share stress management techniques with you at the fourth webinar. And then we are kickstarting our workshop series. In the first workshop, I will be taking you through a mock exam concerning the F3 syllabus, thereby taking you through one of the questions and its answer. And at the same workshop, I will be conducting a Q&A session as per our study plan. By the time we are kickstarting our workshop series, you should be done with at least 3 mock exams. And after completing 3 mock exams, definitely you will have questions. So, at the Q&A session, I will, address all your questions and concerns. And likewise, I will be conducting workshops focused on your P3 and E3 syllabi as well. And just 2 or 3 days before the exam, I will be conducting the final workshop in which I will be sharing last-minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into the exam with a positive attitude. Because as per the CIMA examiner, if you believe in your skill set, if you're positive, if you're confident, then chances of you passing the SCS exam increases significantly. So make use of these free resources on offer. get in touch with us on a weekly basis in order to gain an understanding of different technicalities which you need to master when conducting your preparations. And at the same time, we will be taking you through mock exams, the answers and whatnot, which will be essential for you to gain a good understanding of what you need to achieve when conducting preparations. And on top of that, this is the best way to get in touch with a tutor on a weekly basis, thereby keeping tabs about your performance each and every week. Having said that, let's try to understand the technicalities behind the SCS exam. So looking at the pathway to SCS, students end up at the SCS exam after coming through multiple routes. So there are a set of individuals who are coming through the CIMA general route. This is known as the traditional CIMA route as well. So if you are one such student, you have already completed your OTQ exams. You have already completed your E3, F3, and P3 examinations. So because of that, you have already learned theory. In this exam, it's simply a matter of mastering or improving your application skills. And also, if you're coming through the general route, definitely you would have completed your OCS and MCS exams. So by now, you know what this examination is about and how your knowledge is tested at a CIMA case study examination. So if you're coming through a general route, you'd find this exam to be the easiest out of the 3 case studies, because a high level of prominence is provided towards testing your application skills. And on the other hand, you get another set of students who are coming through various different exemption routes. You might be coming through the C-suite or the CGMA route or the FLP route. So all these routes are exemption routes, as you know. So if you're coming through an exemption route, you will have to spend some additional time to learn all theoretical concepts covered within the E3, F3, and P3 syllabi, especially if you are coming through some type of a degree program or a master's program. Then definitely you will have knowledge gaps concerning the P3 and F3 syllabi. You would have definitely learned what appears within the E3 syllabus, because most academic qualifications are theory heavy. So all these theories are covered in your, all these theories which appear within the E3 syllabus is covered in your academic qualifications, but definitely you'd have knowledge gaps concerning your F3 and P3 syllabi. And if you don't know what's highlighted within the F3 and P3 syllabi, you can't pass this exam. So compared to those who are coming through the general route, you'd have to spend some additional time to learn your theories, and at the same time, you'd have to work on your application skills, because the examiner is testing whether you have learned your theory, and at the same time testing whether you are capable of utilizing these theories which you have learned when developing answers. Because if you are to come up with the best type of answers, best type of recommendations, best type of suggestions, then you need to utilize the theoretical knowledge which you have gained via your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. So it's essential that you learn theories and at the same time improve your application skills. However, if you're coming through an exemption route, although I say that you'd have to work a bit harder than someone who's coming through the general route, you need not worry. We have developed a special set of resources primarily focused on those who are coming through the exemption route, with the intention of teaching you all theoretical elements which are covered in your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi, and at the same time teaching you application skills. So you'd get an understanding of all these additional resources in a little while when we explain what we offer at TCS. So these are the pathways to SCS, and let's look at how your exam is structured. So your exam is a PC-based examination which can be attempted at your home, or you can attempt the exam at an examination center. So if you are experiencing power cuts or regular internet outages, then I will recommend you to attempt the exam at an examination center rather than at your home, because this is a time-pressured examination, and the time duration is 3 hours in total. And when you are under stress levels, when you're operating under a time-pressured environment, you'll be exposed to extreme levels of stress. And in addition to these stressful situations, I don't want you to face any technical issues. So if you are experiencing power cuts or internet outages, don't try to attempt the exam at home. Attempt it at an examination center. So as I mentioned earlier, the time allocation in its totality is 3 hours. However, when it comes to managing your time, you need to consider the time allocation per section. So your paper is divided into 3 main sections or 3 main tasks, and each task carries a time allocation of 60 minutes. So let me quickly take you to one of the mock exams which we developed for a previous case study. So as you can see, in your exam, you'd see questions which are divided into 3 main parts, sections 1, 2, and 3. And the time allocation for each section is 60 minutes. And under each section, you will see 2 or 3 subtasks. So in certain sections, you will see 2 subtasks, and in certain sections, you will see 3 subtasks. So it's going to be either 2 subtasks or 3 subtasks. Okay, so that's how your exam is structured. And the pass mark which you need to achieve to pass this paper is 80 out of 150, or as a percentage, it's 54%. So even if you go wrong in half of your paper, still you can pass this exam if you stick to our study plan and conduct your preparations across 8 weeks. Then you need not worry about the outcome of your exams. Okay, so having said that, let me take you further by taking you through one of the mock exams which we have developed. So at this exam, since this is a professional qualification, the CIMA examinee is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So in a real-life corporate environment, it's as if you are receiving an email from one of your bosses. So you are supposed to play the role of a senior finance manager at this stage. I will talk about the responsibilities of a senior finance manager and what you are supposed to do in a little while. So for now, I'm just going to take you through this mock exam to make you understand how your knowledge is tested. So you are receiving an email from a board member or your senior finance manager or a board member or your CFO, and your title goes as the senior finance manager, and the subject, there's a subject just like in a normal email, and there's some information which is presented with you, which highlights some type of an issue the company faces at the moment, or which highlights some type of an opportunity that the company is trying to exploit concerning its future. So some information is presented. In addition to this information presented in each email body or in each scenario, you'd see some reference material which is shared with you as well. So this reference material provides you with additional information which is related to the information presented in each scenario. So this is exactly what you'd experience at your day-to-day work lives. At office, you'd receive an email, and the email body will carry some information about something the company is facing at the moment, and additional information will come as attachments. So that's exactly what you can see here. There's an email body. Along with it, you'd gain access to reference material, which carries additional information. So, and after that, you'd see different type of subtasks, which carries a certain weightage. These weightages indicate mark allocations, and based on these weightages, you are supposed to stipulate or determine how many points you need to include under each subtask. I will explain all these things in depth in webinar 3. So attend it without fail to make sure you understand how you need to develop answers and what type of skill set you need to work on or improve with the intention of developing high quality answers. So just like that, you'd see in the second subtask, there's a weightage given, and in the third subtask, there's another weightage provided. So that's how your examination is structured. So this is a practical way of testing your knowledge, and when developing your answers, you need to be practical as well. You need to utilize the theories or conceptual knowledge which you have learned via your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. So all these things, how to achieve all these things in a successful manner will be taught to you in the third webinar, answering technique. All right, so that's your exam. Let's try to figure out what your role is. You are supposed to play the role of a senior finance manager at this stage. So if you are coming through the general route, since you have already completed your OCS and MCS exams, you can clearly see that you are at the very top of your given organization. At the OCS exam, you were supposed to play the role of a finance officer who is located at the operational level of your chosen organization. At the MCS exam, you were supposed to play the role of a finance manager who is located at the management level or the tactical level of your given organization. But at this stage, you are directly reporting to the board. You are you are actually the senior finance manager of your company, and you are directly reporting to the CFO of your chosen organization. So you are dealing directly with board members, and as an individual who is directly reporting to the board, you have to have something called an outside-in approach when it comes to decision making. So let's try to understand what an outside-in approach is all about. An outside-in approach is a situation where you are expected to, when taking decisions, when evaluating something, you are expected to determine how your decisions or how your evaluations are going to impact the external environment of your chosen company. Why is this the case? When board members are taking decisions, they are thinking about the long run of any given company. They have to think about, how things, how the company will be impacted, and how the entire industry or external factors will be impacted by their decisions concerning 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and whatnot. So you need to think about the future. So when thinking about the future, first things first, you need to think about how your decisions are going to impact the connected stakeholders as well as the external stakeholders of your company. A special level of thought should be given towards connected stakeholders. So what type of connected stakeholders am I talking about? You need to think about shareholders, how they will react to one of your decisions. Then you need to think about your customers, another set of important connected stakeholders. You need to think about your suppliers and any strategic partners whom you are dealing with at the moment. And at the same time, you need to think about the general public, pressure groups, the government, how they will react to your decisions. So likewise, all these connected stakeholders are dependent on your industry. You will gain a good understanding of the type of stakeholders we are supposed to deal with next Friday when I take you through the Preseen document, when I'm conducting the Preseen analysis. For now, what you need to understand is the fact that you need to adopt an outside-in approach when it comes to decision making. So first things first, you need to think about how your connected stakeholders are going to react. Another important connected stakeholder, another set of important connected stakeholders are the competitors, because at this stage we are dealing with a PLC or a public limited company or a quoted company. So as a quoted company, you need to think about the competitors and how these competitors are going to react to the decisions you take. So you need to adopt an outside-in approach. That's what the board members are supposed to achieve. And since you are directly reporting to board members, since you are involved with decision making within your organization, you need to adopt something called an outside-in approach as well. So after thinking about how your connected stakeholders are going to be impacted by your decisions, you need to think about the internal environment or the internal dynamics of your chosen organization, and think about how your internal organizational internal environment of your organization will be impacted. So when taking each decision, it's best practice to think whether it is aligned with the current vision, mission, as well as the set of values of your chosen organization, the leadership structure of your chosen organization, what we believe in. So all these things should be looked at before finalizing a decision. So those are your responsibilities as a senior finance manager. And at this stage, a higher level of application and practical thinking is expected. So you need to be conversant with all theoretical areas which are covered under your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. If you have knowledge gaps, you won't pass this exam. Take it from me. If you have knowledge gaps, most students who are coming through exemption routes, they have knowledge gaps concerning P3 and F3 syllabi. So if you have knowledge gaps, you have to take steps to bridge these knowledge gaps. If not, you won't pass this exam. And at the same time, practical decision making or application skills are heavily tested at this exam. So just because you know your theories, you can't pass. Instead, you need to gain an understanding of how you should consider the theoretical concepts which we have learned when developing answers. For instance, if there's a question about stakeholder management, you know for a fact that you are supposed to utilize the Mendelov matrix, the knowledge which you have gained via the Mendelow's matrix, where in which you need to think about each stakeholder's level of power and interest, and based on it, you are supposed to take some type of action with the intention of managing each type of stakeholder. But knowing this won't help you. You need to have an understanding of how to apply Mendelow's matrix when developing answers. So you are not, at this exam, you are not supposed to explain Mendelow's matrix. Instead, when developing the answer, you are supposed to utilize the knowledge which you have gained via the Mendelow's matrix and make sure that you include it within the answer. So when developing answers, you gain a better understanding of how to do this in an appropriate manner when you attend the third webinar. For now, what I'm saying is, just think about your situation, just like how you'd operate within a corporate setting. At office, if your board members or any boss is sending an email, sharing an email with you, and if the boss is asking your guidance to manage some type of stakeholders, will you try to explain Mendelow's matrix, or will you try to address the requirement at hand? You will try to address the requirement at hand, because if you try to explain theories, your boss will be furious, because any individual won't like to spend a lot of time by going through theoretical concepts and whatnot. Instead, you are supposed to consider the information at hand and provide answers or provide responses rather, which are totally aligned with the requirement and which are totally aligned with the information which is at your disposal. So that is exactly why you need to work on your application skills. So even if you bridge your knowledge gaps, if you don't work towards improving your application skills, you won't pass this exam. That's exactly why it's essential that you attempt mock exams under exam conditions. After attempting each mock exam, you are supposed to conduct revision, thereby doing something called redeveloping answer plans. You will understand what redeveloping answer plans is all about in the third webinar. For now, you need to remember that with the intention of improving your application skills, you need to attempt mock exams under exam conditions, and at the same time, you need to conduct revision, thereby redeveloping answer plans after attempting each mock exam. And as I mentioned earlier, you need to know your theories, and with this in mind, when attempting mock exams, you have to make up your mind to attempt 6 mock exams. Why 6 mocks? Because if you had gone through past exam variants or past papers, you would have seen 6 different variants being developed, or 6 different papers being developed focused on each Preseen, and the examiner develops 6 variants, primarily given the fact that the examiner wants to cover the entire syllabus across these 6 papers. So if you have to cover the entire syllabus, you can't cover the entire syllabus by attempting just 2 or 3 mocks. Instead, you have to make up your mind to attempt 6 mock exams, which are intended to cover all syllabus areas, so that you gain a good understanding of how each syllabus content or theoretical concept is tested at your exam. When you know this, your life will be extremely easy at your exam, because you know how each theoretical concept can be tested at the exam. So I will explain how you can achieve all these things in a little while when I'm explaining the 8-week study plan. All right, then diving deeper into the technicalities behind your exam, information is shared with you about a fictitious company in advance via something called a Preseen document. So let me quickly show you what a Preseen looks like. So this is the Preseen which was relevant for the previous case study. As you can see, there's an introduction which gives us an indication of the history of your chosen company. Then there's some indication about the industry. So if you are coming through the general route, if you had completed your OCS and MCS exams, you know for a fact a lower level of prominence was provided towards the industry, especially concerning the OCS exam, the operational case study exam. However, at this stage, since you need to adopt an outside-in approach to decision making, you need to be conversant about what happens within your industry. So that's exactly why there's a lot of prominence provided towards what happens within your industry. So last time's Preseen was on lithium mining. It was on a lithium mining giant. And because of that, you'd see information about the lithium mining industry. And also, towards the latter part of your pre-scene, the examiner will share information about the internal dynamics of your company. So when it comes to the internal dynamics, let's try to figure out what type of information is shared with you. Extracts from the annual report will be shared with you, thereby highlighting what the company is up to. Then information about the board of directors will be shared with you, because at this stage you need to think about the composition of the board. You need to have a good understanding of whether there's some type of shortcoming within your chosen company's board, whether we need to appoint new board members. If so, how we should do it. And you need to think about corporate governance best practices. You need to think about business ethics, achieving sustainability, the type of committees, the type of non-executive directors within the company, whether we should change committees, or whether we should include additional committees. If we do so, how it will impact the corporate governance of your organization. And when we are developing committees, what type of members should be included. When appointing members to committees, what are we supposed to do? All these things, especially concerning corporate governance, will be tested at the exam. And board responsibilities are shared with you, again, testing your knowledge to do with corporate governance. So as I mentioned earlier, this is where you'd understand whether there are any gaps in leadership within our organization. If so, you need to be ready to recommend ways and means of fixing these gaps in leadership. And when doing so, you need to know what type of individuals we should appoint, how we should recruit directors, and whatnot. All these things which are tied to corporate governance will again be tested at the exam. Then there's an indication about the principal risk report, considering 5 or 6 different risks faced by your company. So you need to have the ability to evaluate whether the company has identified all risks. That's the first step towards approaching the principal risk report. So you need to understand whether the company has identified all risks. Definitely there will be 1 or 2 risks which the company is yet to identify. So that's exactly why you need to be conversant with your P3 syllabus, because P3 is everything to do with risk identification and mitigation. After going through the internal dynamics of your chosen company, after considering what happens within your chosen industry, you should have the capability of understanding whether the company has disregarded certain risks, or whether the company has not mentioned certain risks within the risk report. So that's the first step. And the second step is to conduct your own evaluation and see whether the company has implemented appropriate mitigation strategies to manage each type of identified risk. If the mitigation strategies which appear within the risk report are substandard, you should have the capability to recommend better types of risk management strategies. So, and on top of that, you need to know what or how we should update the risk register if you're supposed to do so. Okay, so all these things are tied to your P3 syllabus, which has everything to do with risk identification and mitigation. And extract from competitors' financial statements are shared with you. That's exactly why I said you need to be conversant with what your competitors are up to, because at this stage, as an individual who is directly reporting to the CFO, you need to think about the competitors, how they would react to your decisions and whatnot. That's exactly why the financial statements, not just the financial statements of your chosen company, your closest competitors' financial statements are shared with you. Along with it, share price history is shared with you, along with beta value, with the beta value of the company, which gives us an indication of shareholder confidence and the type of the risk appetite of our shareholders given the beta value. And tied to this, you can easily figure out what type of scenarios can be thrown at you at your real exam. And hints about the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam will be shared via news stories. So via these news stories, you would see some journal articles or newspaper articles. Via these articles, the examiner will share additional information concerning your industry. And at the same time, the examiner will pass some hints about, or share rather, some hints about what can be tested, or the type of scenarios that can be tested at your real exam. Okay, so that's what the pre-scene document is. So information is shared about a fictitious company in advance via a pre-scene, and in the exam you are required to address issues or questions relating to the strategic direction of the company. So you have to think about the long run success of the company, and when developing answers you need to show to the examiner that you have an appropriate level of knowledge about what happens within your company and what happens within your industry. So that's exactly why you need to have a good understanding of the pre-scene document. So I said that you need to evaluate various different things, think about various different theoretical concepts and angles when approaching this pre-scene document. And if you try to decrypt this pre-scene document or evaluate this pre-scene document on your own, you won't be able to do it in a successful manner. That's exactly why we have come up with a set of notations with the intention of effectively summarizing the entire pre-scene, because you'd be clueless about which information should be considered as the most important information and which information which appears within your pre-scene should be disregarded. So in order to make your life easy, we have come up with notations, thereby summarizing the entire pre-scene, and at the same time via these annotations via these annotations, we have highlighted probable exam scenarios which can be tested at the exam based on the hints shared by the CIMA examiner, and tied to these probable exam scenarios, we've also highlighted the syllabus areas which can be tested. And when developing the mock exams, we have made sure to cover all these exam scenarios and syllabus areas. So that's exactly what you can see in here as well. So there's a summary of the internal dynamics of your chosen company, and tied to this information, probable exam scenarios which can be tested are highlighted, and tied to these exam scenarios, syllabus areas tested are highlighted. So this makes your life easy when it comes to understanding what appears within your pre-scene. And I was talking about a risk report. I said that you should have the capability of understanding whether the company has missed out on certain risks which should have appeared within the risk report. That's the first step which you need to take. And the second step is to understand whether there are any shortcomings in the way in which the company tries to mitigate each type of identified risk. And you need not conduct this evaluation on your own. Again, we have done it for you. So we have evaluated each type of risk which is identified within your risk report, and we have evaluated or highlighted the mitigation strategies adopted by the company presently, and we have assessed whether the mitigation strategies are appropriate or not. I've mentioned the fact that the mitigation strategies are reactive, and then since these mitigation strategies are reactive, it's best that we go for proactive mitigation strategies. So with the intention of achieving the required level of proaction, I've suggested enhancements which can be seen in here. So likewise, I've evaluated each type of risk. So once you have access to this document, you need not worry about risk management or the risk report. We have covered it within the annotated pre-scene. And the same could be said about the financial analysis slides. I said that a set of financial analysis, your financial statements, as well as your closest competitors' financial statements, are shared via the SCS pre-scene. So you are supposed to evaluate each financial statement in depth and figure out the financial standing and performance of your chosen company. Again, you need not do this. We have developed a set of financial analysis slides, so thereby evaluating each financial statement in depth, yet making sure to keep things simple so that you can easily gain an understanding of the financial standing of your chosen company. So that's exactly why we have evaluated the SOPL, the SOFP, and the statement of changes in equity. And at the very end, we have conducted a ratio analysis concerning 4 different angles: profitability, activity, gearing, and liquidity. And again, we have evaluated each ratio in depth, making sure to keep things simple so that you gain a better understanding of the financial standing of your company. And when conducting these evaluations, we have made sure to consider the financial standing of your competitor as well. So in one single place, you'd see where your company stands financially, and at the same time where your competitor stands in a financial sense. So these are the resources which we have developed. And so this will ensure that you gain a good level of knowledge rather about the company and the industry. And just being conversant with the pre-seen document won't help you. The examiner is also testing whether you have learned something via your E3, F3, P3 syllabi, not just learned theories. The examiner is trying to figure out whether you have the capability to apply these theoretical concepts, apply these theoretical knowledge when developing answers, because if you do so, you will come up with the best type of evaluations and the best type of decisions. If so, you will successfully and easily pass your SCS exam. So in order to fulfill this requirement concerning your theoretical knowledge, as I mentioned earlier, you need to attempt 6 mock exams, because it takes 6 mocks to cover all syllabus areas. And at the same time, you have to conduct revision focused on the same 6 mock exams with the intention of learning theory and at the same time understanding how to work on your application skills by going through answer structures or going through answer plans. And let's try to understand the to-do list, what you are expected to achieve in the upcoming weeks. So first things first, you are supposed to read the annotated pre-seen. So this annotated pre-seen will be released on Friday itself, because somewhere around 10 a.m. UK time, your pre-seen will be released. So on the same day at 6 p.m. UK, we are conducting the pre-seen analysis based on the annotated pre-seen which we have developed for the SCS exams happening in May and August 2025. And after attending the webinar, if you had invested on, some of you had already invested on paid content. If so, you will gain access to the annotated pre-seen on Friday itself. So read through it on your own, thereby trying to gain an understanding of the type of information which appears within your pre-seen. After doing so, you are supposed to watch the pre-seen analysis videos. As you know, your pre-seen is divided into 3 main parts, and concerning each part, we have developed pre-seen analysis videos. So we have conducted an industry analysis. There's a glimpse into the way in which your company operates and its internal dynamics, and at the very end, information or an evaluation concerning the financial standing of your company compared to your closest competitor had been carried out. So once you have watched these 3 pre-seen analysis videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding of what happens within your industry, what happens within your company, and what appears within the financial statements of your chosen company. So you need not spend any time to evaluate the pre-seen on your own. We have developed resources to tackle all these elements. After you are done with the pre-seen, after you are conversant with the pre-seen, you have to kickstart mock exam practice. So that is when you need to start attempting 6 mock exams. And when attempting 6 mock exams, it's essential that you make sure that you practice exam standard and pre-seen specific mock exams. Why pre-seen specific mock exams? Why can't you rely on past exam variants or past papers? Remember that past exam variants or past papers are developed based on a totally different pre-seen. So last time's pre-seen was based on lithium mining company, and this time's pre-seen will be totally different to that. And because of that, the industry dynamics which are highlighted and tied to it, the type of scenarios which can be tested, and the type of syllabus elements which can be tested, and how each syllabus area can be tested will be quite different to how your knowledge is tested concerning a different or a previous industry. And the same could be said about the internal dynamics of your chosen company. I partially took you through the risk report of the previous company's pre-seen. So the risk report which appears in your current pre-seen will be totally different to that of a risk report which appeared in a previous case study. And because of that, the type of shortcomings in risk identification and the shortcomings in risk mitigation strategies will be quite different to that of your company when compared to a previous company or when compared to a previous company's pre-seen. So that's exactly why it's essential that you practice mock exams which are 100% aligned with your present pre-seen. There's absolutely no point of relying on past exam variants which are based on totally different pre-seen documents. And also, it's essential that you attend the live webinars and workshops. As you know, via the webinars, you will gain an understanding about the different types of techniques which you need to master when conducting your preparations. And at the same time, via the workshops, you'd understand how to approach each syllabus area concerning your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. So, and on top of that, this is the best way to get in touch with me on a weekly basis to get all your questions answered. So make sure to attend these live webinars and workshops, which consist of 8 webinars and workshops in total. And then you have to refer to a set of slides to gain a further understanding of your company and its industry and the financial performance. So with that in mind, you need to go through the industry analysis slides on your own. So these are the set of industry analysis slides which we developed for the previous case study. So our industry analysis slides consist of 4 main parts. In the first part, we have defined the industry so that you gain a good understanding of what your industry is all about. Then we have highlighted information concerning the competitive landscape and industry trends. Concerning this information provided about the competitive landscape and industry trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. So it's essential that you gain an understanding of all these elements. And at the very end, information concerning 2 real-life companies are shared with you so that you gain a good understanding of how real-life companies operate within your chosen industry. So you need not conduct an industry analysis on your own. We have covered it, and you saw the financial analysis slides previously. So you have to go through these financial analysis slides with the intention of understanding the financial standing of your company. Then refer to top 20 issue slides, which indicate the most probable scenarios which can be tested, which is aligned with what appears within your Preseen. And you'd also gain access to theory recaps concerning E3, F3, and P3 syllabi. You have to, whenever you feel that you need to brush up your theoretical knowledge, you need not refer back to your old notes or bulky study texts. Simply refer to the OTQ revision cards. In a jiffy, you are in a position to brush up your knowledge concerning different theoretical concepts. Then, if you are coming through an exemption route, or if you had failed the SCS exam previously, it's essential that you watch 15 pre-recorded masterclasses. So we have developed masterclasses focused on mocks 2 to 6. In each mock exam, there are 3 sections. 3 sections into 5 mocks come up to 15 sections or 15 tasks in total. So focused on each section or task, we have developed 15 masterclasses. And the objective of developing these masterclasses is to teach you the relevant theoretical concepts which are covered in each of our mock exams, and at the same time to teach you application skills. So I said that most students who are coming through exemption routes have issues with theory knowledge and application. And the best way to learn theory is to watch these masterclasses, because you are not learning theoretical concepts in isolation. Instead, you are learning theoretical concepts which are aligned with each mock exam. Then you'd know how each theoretical concept can be practically tested at the exam. And after watching these set of masterclasses, you'd easily understand what to do in terms of improving your application skills. So watch these 15 masterclasses if you're coming through an exemption route, or if you had failed the SCS exam previously. And also, you are supposed to refer to a set of answer plans concerning mocks 1 to 6. So usually, any provider shares mock exams and suggested answers with you, but we have taken a step further. We are sharing answer plans or study summaries or mind maps with you concerning each mock exam's answer. So let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. So this is the answer plan of mock exam 1, which we developed for the previous case study. As you can see, this is the suggested answer of the same answer plan. This is task 1. This is task 1 as well. So the suggested answer is in paragraph form. This is how you are supposed to provide answers at your examination. However, when you are going through pages and pages of information, you won't gain a good understanding of the logic behind each answer, how each answer is structured, and how theoretical concepts should be brought in when developing the answer, and what type of Preseen information had been brought in again when developing the answer. So the best way to understand all these elements, especially the logic and structure behind each answer, is to refer to our answer plans. And when you have access to these answer plans, which is essentially a mind map of each mock exam's answer, you will gain a good understanding of how to structure the answer, the logic behind each answer, how to bring in theoretical knowledge, and how to bring in pre-seen information. And when conducting your revision, you are supposed to try and replicate the same answer plan on your own. This is the best way of conducting revision. This is the best way to improve your application skills significantly. And if you stick to this process in which you attempt a mock exam, then refer to the answer plans, then redevelop answer plans on your own, then compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's answer plans. If you stick to this process, it's as if you are attempting each mock exam 4 times over. That's enough and more time. That's enough and more practice for you to get good marks at your real examination. Okay, so that's what we offer, and that's what you need to go through as well. And you'd also receive personalized tutor feedback concerning mocks 3 and 5. And let me quickly show you the type of feedback we offer at TCS. You can see the type of in-depth feedback on offer. We have evaluated each paragraph, each point, with the intention of highlighting your shortcomings, because it's essential that you understand your shortcomings, which paves way for improvements. If you don't understand your shortcomings, you won't know, what you need to do to improve your skill set. So it's essential, if you're coming through exemptions and if you had failed the exam previously, it's essential that you seek this type of tutor feedback so that you'd understand what your shortcomings are. And then you can, when conducting revision, you can take steps to overcome these shortcomings. So throughout this answer script, you can see the type of feedback which we have offered. And at the very end, we have highlighted mark allocations on a subtask by subtask basis. And we have also indicated a success rate, which indicates the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So when it comes to conducting your revision, which is to redevelop answer plans, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans once more concerning the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. By doing this, you are focusing attentively towards your shortcomings and taking effective steps to overcome your shortcomings, which is the best way to improve your skill set. And if you improve your skill set, you will gain extremely good marks at your real examination. So that's the type of feedback on offer. You need to go through these feedback documents as well. So you might think that this is an extremely long to-do list. Yes, I agree. However, we have developed a study plan which makes your life easy, which expects you to spend something around 9 to 12 hours on a weekly basis. On one single week, we want you to dedicate 12 hours of your time. You'd understand why that is the case. But on the other weeks, you simply need to dedicate 9 hours of study time. You need not spend 3 hours or two hours daily. Instead, simply dedicate 9 hours of study time weekly. Then you can easily pass this exam, and make sure that you go through all these resources within the upcoming 8 weeks. Okay, and important dates, you need to be conversant of the exam entry closure, which is on the 6th of May, which is a Tuesday. So if you are planning to sit for the SCS exam, which is happening in May, book your exam before the 6th of May. And what I'm recommending is, so what my suggestion is, to book the exam as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last moment, because if you do so, usually you'd experience a situation where you run out of time slots. So if all the slots are taken up, you'd have to do your exam at strange times, such as at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. early in the morning, which is not too easy. Instead, it's best that you attempt the exam in a relaxed environment, where you attempt it at about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or towards the afternoon. My recommendation is to do the exam somewhere around 9 a.m. when your brain is working properly and when you're fresh. Or else, if you wait until the last moment, you'd have to attempt the exam at ungodly hours, which will not be a good experience. And on top of that, I want you to book the exam right now if you had already taken the decision to sit for exams happening in May. Because if you book now, you will commit to the study plan. If not, you'd wait until the last moment to book the exam, And when you know for a fact that you don't have enough time, you will push your attempt to August. And the same will happen in August. Therefore, you would push your attempt to November. So don't waste time. In order to avoid time wastage, book your exam right now. And if you do so, you will commit to the study plan. If so, you'll be done and dusted with CIMA examinations this May. And the exams are from the 21st to the 23rd of May, 2025. All right. So before we move on to the second part of today's webinar, in which I'm going to take you through the 8-week study plan, let me quickly remind you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the SCS page. If you are yet to create free content, click on this button and create a free user account. Via this free user account, you'd gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops which are conducted on a weekly basis rather. And at the same time, you will gain access to mock exam 1 free of charge, along with its suggested answer and the answer plan. Also, you have the opportunity of attempting mock exam 1 under exam conditions via the exam platform which we have developed. So at TCS, we have developed an exam platform which is the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system on which you attempt your real exam. So you can, if you sign up for free content, or if you create a free user account, then you have the opportunity of attempting mock exam 1 under exam conditions via our exam platform. And if you are interested in investing on paid content, click on this button and check the sample material before you do so. And if you are yet to join the SCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this forum, you'd gain information. You'd gain access to information about the weekly commencement dates and times of webinars and workshops. And at the same time, we will be sharing hordes of free content with you. And also, if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise these questions, and I'm always there to help you guys out. And talking about what we offer 2 packages, the essential course and the premium course. The essential course is designed for those who have completed the OTQs. So if you had completed your E3, F3, and P3 syllabi, or E3, F3, and P3 OTQs rather, you have already learned theory. Your job is to simply work towards improving your application skills. So under the essential course, you'd gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops, 6 mock exams with suggested answers. As I mentioned earlier, we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas when developing these 6 mock exams. You will gain access to pre-scene analysis videos. Once you have watched these videos, you'd gain a good understanding of your entire pre-scene. Also, you'd gain access to the annotated pre-scene so that you can revise on your own whenever necessary. Then you'd gain access to the industry and financial analysis slides. You saw how they look like a while back. You'd also gain access to top 20 likely issue slides, which indicate the most probable scenarios which can be thrown at you at your exam. A case study familiarization kit. Once you have gone through this kit, you'd gain a good understanding about the technicalities behind your SCS exam. You'd also gain access to a tutor-managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So if you're coming through the general route, you are supposed to attempt mock exams on your own. And after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that there are knowledge gaps, or if you feel that you need to brush up your theoretical knowledge, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards. In a jiffy, you are in a position to improve your theoretical knowledge. So the essentials course is priced at £299. And talking about the premium course, this is intended for those who are coming through exemption routes and those who had failed the SCS exam previously. Both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application. And with the intention of bridging theoretical knowledge gaps and with the intention of teaching you application skills, we have included some additional resources under the premium course on top of what appears under the essential course. So if you opt for the premium course, you would gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all 6 mock exams under exam conditions, which is the best way to master your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. You will receive one-on-one tutor feedback on 2 mocks, namely mocks 3 and 5. You saw the type of feedback on offer. You'd also gain access to answer plans of all mock exams, which makes your life easy when it comes to understanding the logic behind each answer. And this makes your life easy when conducting revision. You'd also gain access to 15 masterclasses, which are 100% aligned with the mock exams, which we have developed for this time's case study. And once you have access to these master classes, you will know how each theoretical element is tested at the exam, because we have made sure to cover all syllabus areas. So you learn theories concerning the entire syllabus via the 15 master classes, and at the same time, you will significantly understand, learn, and improve application skills. And once you have access to all this content, you will pass for sure, hence the pass guarantee. So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you will gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete these 3 requirements. You have to complete all 6 mock exams. Just because you invest on premium, you won't pass. You have to be serious. So you have to attempt all 6 mocks. If not, you won't cover the entire syllabus. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, when attempting each mock exam, do it on your own. Don't go through any of the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. I want you to try and give your best shot. Then you will realize what your shortcomings are. Rather than cheating yourself, rather than going through answers before attempting mock exams, attempt mock exams on your own. Understand your shortcomings, because the objective of attempting mock exams is primarily to understand your shortcomings. Because if you understand your shortcomings, you stand a chance to take steps to overcome these problems. If so, you would be extremely successful at your real exam. And you are supposed to meet the performance criteria of 40% or higher, focused on the last 3 mock exams. We have come up with this criteria with the intention of making sure that you do a serious job towards the last 3 mocks, especially given the fact that you are receiving tutor feedback on 2 of them. So once you have completed all these requirements, you will pass for sure. That is why we guarantee your pass if you invest on the premium course. So the premium course is priced at £849, which can be paid in 2 installments of £424 each, or you can pay in full. If so, you'd save £100. The price is going to be just £749. So you can invest on either of these packages by clicking on either of these buttons. And all products are available until the 30th of August 2025. So if you are planning on sitting for the SCS exams happening in August, you can invest right now and start preparations, which gives you a head start. And at the same time, you can conduct your preparations in a stress-free environment, because you have access to additional 3 months if you start right now. Okay, so having said that, let's move on to the second part of today's webinar, in which I'm going to take you through the SCS study plan. And this 8-week study plan can be accessed via our website itself. So let's try to understand what you are supposed to achieve in the upcoming 8 weeks. As you can see, there are 8 weeks. And from the Preseen release until your exam, there are roughly 7.5 weeks. All right, so we are in week number 1. This is the pre-course week before we kickstart our course in a serious manner. So within this week, you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory recaps, brush up your knowledge. When going through these OTQ theory recaps, focus your attention towards the E3 syllabus, because this exam is E3 heavy. So within this week, simply go through the OTQs concerning your E3 syllabus, then refer to the SCS familiarization kit to gain an understanding about the technicalities behind your exam. So the weekly study hours which you need to allocate is just 8 weeks. And the second week is dedicated towards your Preseen document. Again, you are supposed to dedicate 8 weeks of study time. And you have to kickstart the second week by attending the webinar, which is happening next Friday, which is conducted free of charge. And after attending the webinar, you would understand how to approach your Preseen document. Once you are done with it, watch the Preseen analysis videos on your own. After you have watched it, refer to the annotated Preseen, thereby conducting your revision focused on the Preseen document, and also refer to the industry and financial analysis slides to gain a good understanding about a better understanding of your industry, and at the same time revising your knowledge which you have gained by watching the final Preseen analysis video, in which we've conducted the financial analysis. So week 2 is dedicated towards mastering your Preseen document. Once you're done with it, from week 3 onwards, you have to kickstart mock attempts. So week 3 is the most hectic out of the lot, because in this week, you are supposed to dedicate 12 hours of study time. So you have to kickstart week 3 by attending the 3rd webinar, in which you will learn answering and time management techniques. Before learning these techniques, you are not expected to start attempting mocks. So although you'd have access to mock exams, especially the first 2 mock exams by week number 3, we have already developed all 6 mock exams, but we will only be releasing mocks on a weekly basis to make sure that you stick to the study plan. So, before attending the 3rd webinar, don't attempt any mock exams on your own. Wait until you learn answering and time management technique. After learning answering and time management technique, you are supposed to attempt the first 2 mocks. That's why you need to dedicate 12 hours of study time within week 3, because one single mock attempt will take 3 hours of your time, just like in your real exam. It's essential that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions. Then you'd be exposed to the same type of stressors you'd face at your real exam. It's essential that you are exposed to stressful situations right now rather than at your real exam. Because if you are exposed to stressful situations now, you will become accustomed to them. And at the same time, you will know what to do to manage stressful situations, because I'm going to teach you stress management techniques in webinar 4. And if you practice these stress management techniques over and over when attempting each mock exam, you will master these stress management techniques. And if so, whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation, you'd know what to do at your real exam rather than panicking and losing a lot of time. So you are supposed to attempt 2 mock exams under exam conditions, mocks 1 and 2. And once you are done with mock exam 2, watch the 3 master classes to learn theories which are included within mock number 2, and at the same time to learn application skills. Once you have learned theories and application, test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans on your own. You can take any amount of time. Usually it will take you 2 hours to redevelop the answer plan. This is when you are trying to figure out whether you have learned something via the master classes, whether you have the capability of applying theoretical concepts properly, whether you have the capability of structuring your answer, whether you have understood the logic behind each answer. So that is essential for you to redevelop answer plans, so thereby being involved with revision in a proactive manner. So after you have redeveloped answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to TCS's answer plans to further understand further improve your understanding about how you should approach each type of question and how effectively you need to develop answer structures. All right, so that's week number 3, which is dedicated towards mocks 1 and 2. And from week 4 onwards, it's easy sailing, especially given the fact that you are only supposed to dedicate 9 hours of study time. And at the same time, you are supposed to focus your attention towards one single mock exam from week 4 onwards. So week 4 is dedicated towards mock exam 3. So attempt mock exam 3 via the exam platform, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application, then redevelop answer plans, thereby conducting revision. And since you are receiving tutor feedback for mock 3, refer to personalized tutor feedback so that you understand what your shortcomings are. And once you have received tutor feedback, focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans once more. And in week number 5, again, just 9 hours of study time is necessary, in which you are supposed to dedicate your attention towards mock number 4. So attempt it under exam conditions, which is the best way to practice your answering and time management techniques. Then watch the 3 master classes to learn theory and improve application, and test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans once more. And likewise, in week number 6, focus your attention towards mock number 5, and you'd be receiving tutor feedback for mock number 5 within week 6. And after receiving tutor feedback, redevelop answer plans once more based on the tutor feedback we offer. And week 7 is dedicated towards mock number 6. And a week before the exam, if you stick to the study plan, you will complete all your preparations. So within week number 8, you are not expected to do any mock attempts. You are not expected to redevelop answer plans and whatnot. You are not expected to go through theories. Instead, you have to start relaxing. So we have developed this study process with the intention of ensuring that you relax towards the very end of your study process. Why do we want you to relax? Especially given the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So if you are to function properly in a successful manner, it's best that you are relaxed, calm, and composed, both mentally and physically. So just imagine that you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you are to function properly on a Monday, you have to be well rested in the weekend. However, if you are up till late, or if you are exposed to extreme levels of stress towards the weekend, can you function properly on a Monday? You can't. So that's exactly why we want you to relax before your exam, because it's as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So, it's essential that you start relaxing. In order to start relaxing a week before the exam, you have to do all the hard yards in the first 6 weeks after the Preseen is released. So by week number 7, attempt all mock exams, do all your revision, redevelop answer plans, watch all the master classes. And if you do so, in week number 8, you are simply supposed to attend the final workshop in which you'd learn last minute tips. Then refer to the answer plans of mocks 1 to 6, thereby going through the entire syllabus once more, thereby reminding yourself about how to structure each answer, thereby going through the logic behind each answer, and simply reread the annotated Preseen one last time, thereby refreshing your knowledge concerning what appears within your Preseen. Other than that, you are not supposed to do anything else in week number 8. And this will help you with stress management, because a week before the exam, you are trying to take steps to relax, which indicates the fact that you are not stressed, and this will be extremely beneficial for you at your real exam. 99% of students out there walk into a CIMA exam under extreme levels of stress. Why is this the case? Especially given the fact that they wait until the last 2 weeks to start preparations. So in the last 2 weeks, they'll be rushing the process. They will try to attempt 6 mock exams, which is not easy. Even if you complete all 6 mocks within 2 weeks, you won't have time to conduct revision. You can't pass this exam simply because of the fact that you attempt mock exams. Instead, you need to spend a considerable amount of time towards revision. By revising, you are taking steps to overcome your shortcomings. You are taking steps to improve answering technique and time management technique. And by revising, you are trying to understand the logic behind each answer and replicate the same methodology in your own answers. So that is exactly why it's essential that you start relaxing, because if you're well relaxed, it's essential that you start work right now, because if you start work right now, you will have enough time to attempt all 6 mocks, watch all the master classes, and redevelop answer plans, go through tutor feedback. Or else if you wait until the last 2 weeks, you will only have time to attempt the 6 mock exams, and without revision, you won't get good marks at your real exam. Actually, you can't pass the SCS exam. So when all the other students are scrambling for time, when they are under extreme levels of stress, you are relaxing, and you will have an edge over all the other students at your real examination. That's exactly what our past students have told us. If you stick to the study plan, you can easily gain more than 80 marks. Why? Because you are conducting your preparations in a relaxed atmosphere. You have enough and more time to conduct revision, which is essential to pass this exam, rather than trying to just attempt mocks before walking to the exam. And having said that, let me quickly mention how to approach each week. So let's assume you are in week number 5. Okay. No, let's assume you are in week number 6. Okay. So leave out Mondays, because usually Mondays are hectic at office. I don't want you to spend any time on exam preparations, because you'd be too stressed or fatigued. So leave out Mondays. Let's assume that you attempt a mock exam on Tuesday, which will take 3 hours of your time. Do it under exam conditions. After attempting the mock exam on Tuesday, on Wednesday, watch the master classes. That is when you'd learn how you should have developed the answers, how you should have structured the answers. That is when you'd learn theories and application. Once you have learned theory and application, on Thursday, redevelop answer plans, thereby conducting revision. And by Friday, you will receive tutor feedback, because within 72 hours, we provide tutor feedback. So by Friday, if you attempt the exam on Tuesday, by Friday, you will gain tutor feedback, go through the tutor feedback, and on the same day, if necessary, redevelop answer plans once more. And don't do anything during the weekends. Just attend the weekly webinar or workshop. Other than that, I want you to spend time with your loved ones. I want you to do your household chores. I want you to spend time with your friends or family, because this is a stressful exam. I don't want you to, be stressed during the weekends, especially when you're supposed to relax. So keep the weekends out, spend time with your loved ones. Instead, work during the weekdays. So attempt a mock on Tuesday. On Wednesday, watch the master classes. On Thursday, redevelop answer plans. And on Friday, check tutor feedback if it's available, and based on it, again, redevelop answer plans. If you stick to this process across the 6 mock exams, you will see a significant improvement in the way in which you structure your answers. You would see a significant improvement in your skill set and theory knowledge and application knowledge. If so, you will be extremely successful at your real exam. So start your preparations right now, so that you can focus on one single mock exam every week and conduct all revision, learn theories and application, which paves way for you to relax in the last week, when everyone else, all the other students, are under extreme levels of stress. You'd be happy about your preparations, so you'd be operating in a stress-free environment. And if you had completed your OCS and MCS exams previously, you would have seen students going through past papers, going through mock exams, going through suggested answers, the Preseen, right before walking into the exam. So if you had attempted the exam at an examination center, you know what I'm talking about. Even you would have done it in your previous case studies, where you are under a lot of stress. Before walking into the exam, there's a tendency for you to go through mock papers or the Preseen. When all the other students are like that, you are happy that you have completed your work. You are not doing anything. You are walking into the exam with a positive attitude, with an open mind, because as per what I mentioned previously on numerous occasions within this webinar, the examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So in a real-life corporate environment, you cannot predict what can be tested at the exam. In a real-life corporate environment, you cannot predict the type of opportunities the company might face, or the type of threats it is trying to manage, unless and otherwise you receive information via email. So when you walk into office, you switch on your laptop or computer. Then after reading through the emails which you have received, you understand what type of issues the company is facing, or what type of opportunities it is trying to exploit. Other than that, even if you are the CFO or the managing director or the CEO or the chairman of the company, you are not in a position to predict the future of the company. So don't try to predict anything. Instead, it's essential that you walk into the exam with an open mind. And the best way to achieve a high level of open-mindedness is to complete all the hard yards a week before the exam and start relaxing within the last week. All right, so that's the 8-week study plan, and I hope you'd stick to it to make sure that you gain extremely good marks and pass this exam easily. So that's exactly why we achieved a 90% pass rate in the November 2024 exams, in which most of our students got good marks. So, although your pass mark is 80, if you stick to our study plan, you can achieve more than 100 marks easily. So in order to achieve this, start preparations right now, attend next Friday's webinar for sure. Then you'd understand how to approach the Preseen, and then you have to kickstart your preparations. And if you had already made up your mind to sit for SCS exams happening in May, book your exam right now, so that you'd definitely commit to the 8-week study plan, because it's simply a matter of working across 7 weeks. If so, you can say goodbye to SCS and the CIMA qualification in its entirety. So it's just a matter of dedicating yourself in the upcoming 7 weeks. That too, you are not supposed to do wonders. We are simply asking you to dedicate 9 hours of study time per week. We have made things simple. We have made things easy. We have developed masterclasses, answer plans with you, and we are sharing them with you with the intention of ensuring that you don't spend a lot of time trying to learn theory and improve application. We have covered it for you. Your job simply comes down to attempting the weekly mock and pre-developing answer plans. That's the only thing which you're supposed to do. Other than that, everything else is handled by us at TCS. So this will enable you to conduct your preparations in a stress-free environment. That's why almost all our students pass this exam comfortably. You can achieve the same feat if you stick to the 8-week study plan. Having said that, I'm moving on to the Q&A. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise them now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. If you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or visit our website and click on the contact button, and you'd be directed to the get in touch area. Drop your message here so that our admin staff can get in touch with you via email during office hours, or you can directly email us via info@study@tcs.com, or simply drop us a message via WhatsApp, which is the easiest mode of communication out of the three. And if you want to follow us on our social media handles, I invite you to do so, especially TikTok and YouTube, because you'd gain access to 6 videos, which is a good mind map of the entire Preseen via the TikTok handle. And these videos will be released next Friday, coinciding with the Preseen release. And once you have access to these 6 TikTok videos, on your way to office, for instance, keep watching these 6 TikToks on a daily basis, with the intention of ensuring that you keep reminding yourself constantly about the most important points which appear within your Preseen. So you need not do anything else to memorize Preseen information. Just watch these 6 TikTok videos. And also, the recorded versions of the webinars and workshops conducted every week will be uploaded to our YouTube handle. So make sure to subscribe it as well. And once the Preseen is released, you'd gain access to a blog post concerning your chosen company. Having said that, the concluding thought is to approach SCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass, because this is a highly practical examination. So your approach in the upcoming 7 weeks should be to improve your skill set rather than trying to memorize anything, because you cannot run a business, or you cannot make decisions within a business by memorizing anything. The best type of decision makers, the best type of entrepreneurs out there are reacting to the information at hand. So when conducting your preparations, try to gain an understanding of how an actual business is run and how to react to the issues faced by an actual business. If you do so, one fine day, you will run your own business in a successful manner. And at the same time, if you are in a corporate environment, you would be a good leader who everyone looks up to. So that should be your goal, which is to improve your skill set by preparing for your SCS exam. Having said that, it brings us to the end of today's webinar. I hope you gained something out of this session, and I invite you to attend the 3rd webinar, which is happening next Friday, in which you are going to understand about your industry and the internal dynamics of your chosen company. So thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you once more, and take care.